we're having a bit of a pivot today. So we're going to keep doing just kind of what we had planned on doing. It's supposed to be chicken piccata, and I was going to use chicken thighs. Well, I opened the chicken thighs and got a whiff of what didn't smell like perfectly fresh chicken. And this was stuff that was still well within its, its date of use. So that's going to go back to Costco tomorrow. Well, kind of in keeping with fearless cooking, what I ended up doing was pulling out some chicken breasts that I had and throwing them in the microwave on defrost. So it's certainly not the optimum way to do it, but I at least wanted to be able to have the protein in there while we do the rest of the stuff. So what I normally do, I'm going to walk you through kind of the process.
You want them to preheat the oven first, though? Make sure
yeah. So set your oven to 500 degrees. And if you have a question, we're going to mute as this thing goes on. But if you have a question in Zoom, you can just do the chat or raise your hand, and then Jude can unmute you and you can ask the question.
Or you can unmute yourself. Whichever.
Yeah. So we good to go?
Yeah, it looks like people are ready.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the potatoes and the green beans in first. Then I'm going to see what shape this chicken's in. I'm going to put the chicken and sliced onions in a bag to marinate while we prep everything else. We're going to get the green beans and the potatoes in to kind of get a head start on everything else. So what we'll do first is we'll get the potatoes cut.
You want to make sure we know all the ingredients?
Yeah, good idea.
Out and names, so
sorry, my chicken fiasco has me a little flustered here. So I've got new potatoes. This is the okra. I've got green beans that I blanched because I'm using like Kentucky Wonders, which are a bigger and kind of a tougher green bean. I've got figs that we'll be doing the dessert with, and I'm going to throw a peach in too. We're going to use a little bit of goat cheese to go in with those. We're going to use some honey, and we're also going to use balsamic vinegar. And one of the things that you'll find with me pretty quick is, I may say half a cup. Most of the time, it's going to be, we're going to eyeball it and go, yep, that looks like a good amount. And then in the fridge, I've got some butter that I will pull out once we get the dessert going. We'll be cutting some lemons up to go with the chicken piccata. We'll cut some olives. I've got some sun-dried tomatoes, garlic, capers, and this salt and pepper, and then this is apple cider vinegar and extra virgin olive oil to use for the marinade.
Right.
Okay, and we've got it 500 degrees, and I think that's got us covered. We're going to get it started.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to do is, before I start cutting, I'm going to get the green beans and the, I'll just use this to mix everything in. I'm going to cut the potatoes.
Okay.
So let's get this.
How many potatoes?
And like 6 to 8.
Okay, small potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. Let's move this out of the way.
If somebody used large potatoes, they could just cut them into smaller pieces.
Yeah. You could use sweet potatoes on it. The main thing with that is just trying to figure out, all right, how do we get things done at the same time?
Yeah.
I'm going to just slice them. And, the biggest thing with me let me do something else real quick. Dan and I talked about this the other day. I like to hone the steel, use a honing steel every time I start to cook. And what I'm doing is I'm running it down and across, and all that's designed to do is to line up the blade, okay? So it's just down and across, and I don't do it very many times, but it's supposed to just kind of help with the sharpness of the knife. And I've noticed, I've done this before with bell peppers, and it's, all of a sudden you're trying to cut it and it's kind of sticking. you hit it on the honing steel and it starts to slide through it a lot easier.
So you're slicing them in about what, 1 inch thickness?
Yeah, that's
or?
about half an inch.
Okay.
And that was, you know, it's really, it's just kind of get them a uniform, you know, and when you have something like this, it's like, all right, we'll get close.
How did you prepare them? Did you wash them?
I just washed them,
Okay.
that was it, yeah. And, you know, the other thing is just always keeping your fingers out of the way and use the edge of your finger as a, as a guide.
So you're gonna put these in the bowl with the olive oil.
Yeah, olive oil and the green beans and a little salt and pepper, and those are gonna go on and just give them about a 10-minute head start.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of those where having an expansive space to prep would be really nice, but you know,
Make do.
it's like, yeah, there's people that are running like multi-seat restaurants out of spaces that are not a whole lot bigger than this, which always amazes me whenever I see that. All right, I'm gonna put the green beans in here too.
Dan, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So the green beans and the potatoes all in the same bowl.
Yep.
Yes.
And about how much olive oil?
So let's see, about probably a third of a cup.
Enough oil?
Yeah, just all you're wanting to do is just give them a good coating. And we're just going to toss, I'm just going to toss some salt in here, and I'm going to hit a little pepper, and then I'm just going to mix it all up. I just want to make sure it gets on everything. Yeah, so there's what we're kind of looking like. You know, we don't want a big puddle in the bottom, just enough to kind of get on there. There'll be a little bit left over. And then I'm going to pull one of the sheet trays. And I don't put parchment paper on a sheet tray when I'm putting it in a 500-degree oven, because it'll definitely get, you know, like kind of crispy.
And you put salt on this as well, like a handful, pinch.
Yep.
Sea salt there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to spread them out. Let's get this out. Let's see this maybe.
My pan looks like this, Jim. Is that?
It's a good, it's thicker with edges on it. That work?
Yeah.
Yep, that'd be fine. Yep.
And then it looks like you're just spacing them all out so they're not on top of each other?
Yeah, and they're going to be, you know, here's the thing. We're going to be cooking this long enough that we should be, you know, like we're not going to be able to have a pan big enough to where everything is going to be like completely single space, but we want it spread out kind of as much as we can. I didn't put, you know, that was probably more like 2 pounds of green beans over there. So I just kind of left a few out of here because I didn't want to overburden the pan. And we're still, you know, we're at 500 degrees, but I'll wait a second before we put this in.
I think everyone might be ready.
Dan, are you ready?
I'll keep on the other side there.
I'm ready.
All right, and then we'll throw these in the oven.
Can we set it for 10 minutes?
And set a timer for 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right. And now we're going to get the onion peeled, and then we're going to, what we're going to do next is we're going to put the onion and the, and we're not going to use, I'm not using all of this onion because we're only going to use like about a medium's onion worth in the, in this dish, and then we're going to use some of it with the okra. Or if you have 2 onions, then certainly do it that way. I just, a lot of times if I'm, you know, doing something where a recipe might be a medium, I'll get a large and split it between whatever it is I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm just gonna, I just cut a little edge there to make peeling it a little easier. Actually, what I'm gonna do is just cut it in half.
Are you gonna fine chop this or?
No, I'm just gonna cut it into like rings, or just slices. Get that skin off. Set that piece there. I always, it's like, make sure I get this kind of leathery stuff off. All right.
Save the other one for later.
Yeah, well, I'll still like go ahead and get it cut just so that it's ready. But I'm just, and this is once again kind of the whole kind of guide thing. Just, you know, I want to cut it pretty thin.
So thin rings.
Yeah, thin rings, or you know, half moon, I guess. There is supposedly a difference in the heat of the onion predicated on which direction you cut it. And I don't remember which way it goes. It has something to do with the number of cells that you cut it through. But Chang, I think David Chang has a piece on that. It's either him or Kenji Lopez Hall.
So.
All right, so that's going to be what I'm going to use for the marinade.
Oh, for the marinade?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this other onion you're going to use like
I'm going to put it in this other bowl, and we'll use it with the with okra.
So you've got them both ready.
Yeah, actually, because okra is a smaller quantity, I'll go ahead and throw that extra. That'll be for the potatoes and the this is chicken piccata. This right here, I'll use this for the okra.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah. And when it starts getting where it's unwieldy, then I just turn it over. I lay it flat, and cut the rest of it because life's too short to do it with a partial finger.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily. All right.
Yeah, that takes fearless cooking to the whole new level.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, it's like, okay, it's the, you know, you're going to nick yourself up and get enough burns if you're kind of doing it the smart way, but it's like, there's no point in.
You need your bag?
It's under here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, my mise en place, you know, the whole thing that they go through over and over again is if you have everything together, it makes your brain kind of, you know, organized as well. So when you have something that kind of throws you off like this deal earlier, it's like, all right, you got to kind of regroup. So that's what I'm doing.
All right. Well,
Even though
we're here to support you. Okay, so you're putting the onions in the.
Yeah, I'm putting the onions, and then we're going to put the chicken in here. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and cut the chicken up a little bit.
Okay.
Just because the thighs are normally, you know, a lot smaller pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and now after even though this is not completely raw, once I'm done with this, I'll clean this cutting board off.
Do you also want to put the garlic in there with the?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea.
In there too. You want to?
Yeah, so we'll. All right, so this, I'm just going to cut it. Yeah, this is certainly going to be done because it's like halfway done now. That's one of the things I wish, you know, there's obviously a defrost setting on the microwave, but it's like, it basically is just kind of cooking it at a low level.
But if somebody is doing chicken thighs, they should just put in the whole thigh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so don't.
Yeah, you don't need to cut
You're
off.
having to do this because of the.
Yeah, and I'm also doing it to kind of see, all right, how done is it? And it's obvious this is going to be an interesting experiment.
Okay, well.
Jim, I found chicken thighs at HEB today, and they're like about that big, skinless, boneless.
Perfect.
That should work perfectly,
Yeah.
it sounds like.
Yeah.
Good. If only your chicken thighs had.
Yeah, that was kind of what mine would have looked like. And you know, this was the second time, and it's like I am a huge Costco fan, but it's like this has happened to me once before with them, but it's been about 2 years ago, and they were having some supplier problems, and they supposedly got them solved. I'm going to let them know they're not quite, you know, 100%.
So you haven't, are you doing that?
Yeah, so I'm just going to.
On the part where you didn't cook the chicken? Yeah.
And I'm going to, and I'm just going to hit this real quick with some soap. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and just.
I would. Good idea.
What is that? The discretion is the better part of valor. So,
Start washing off the
yeah.
cutting board.
And getting the onions out from underneath my feet.
Just to give you a heads up, you got like a little over 3 minutes,
Perfect.
3.5 minutes on the
All right.
potatoes.
Yeah, we won't get very much marinating time on mine. But we'll,
Ideally, how long would you want to marinate?
about 10 minutes,
Okay.
10 to 15, or 10 is fine. It's just,
Maybe it's not going to cook as fast, so.
well,
All right, we'll cook faster, so you.
yeah, it's going to, I mean, you know what? Well, I'll just throw the garlic on with everything. Nah, screw it. We'll do it this way.
Okay, so.
All right.
What's next?
So I'm just going to smash the garlic
Okay.
to get rid of the skin, or to loosen up the skin. There we go.
And this will go in the marinade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll get everything else prepped while this is. So we'll let the, it will hang out for a few minutes.
Okay.
Slicing it through. There's kind of a funky spot here on this piece of garlic. Kind of in keeping with the theme of the day.
Some days are just like that.
There are, and you know, it's like even when it happens, it's like, okay, you know, plan B. Because, you know, normally what I would do in a case like this is I would have just, instead of trying to make chicken work, I would have just gone to frozen shrimp, because, you know, I could have used everything I had here and just made a different, you know, different meal. All right, so now then I'm going to throw some salt in, throw a little pepper in, and just, you know, fat pinches. Then this is probably about 1/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, and probably about 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And all I want to do with this is just kind of mash it around, make sure that it's coating everything.
Seal the bag.
And then I'm going to seal the back.
Okay.
All right. All right, perfect. We'll set it over here.
So you just mixed it up really good, made sure
Mix it up and
everything was
just set it
covered.
over there.
Okay.
All right, so now then I'm going to chop these olives up.
Okay. How are you?
I'm just going to slice them, you know,
Okay.
however many times I can without, you know, running into my finger.
Okay.
And these olives that I'm using are, they're stuffed with avocado and garlic, but
You mean garlic?
I mean
and
avocado,
jalapeno.
jalapeno and garlic. You know, that would be kind of a,
Ew.
yeah, I don't know that one would sell.
You could use any olives, black olives. green
Yeah,
olives.
absolutely. Yeah, I like the kind of the bite and the acidity of the green ones. But yeah, I mean, in fact, I don't know if some of the recipes call for black olives. That, to me, they just have a lot more kind of a savory.
Yeah, I like the green too.
And plus, these work better in martinis.
Yes.
Actually, these are pretty delightful in a martini.
Your timer is just getting ready to go
All
off.
right, perfect. So I'll put that right there.
It just went off. So
All right, we'll check and see what shape this stuff is in. And if you're pulling I'm not going to put it over here yet. What I'll do is just move this out of the way. Yeah, that's good. So we're just going to sit this here for a second, let it hang out.
on the stove.
Yeah, just sit right there. And then I'm going to cut this, cut the lemon. We're just, you know, we're just cutting the lemon slices, and we're going to put this in there as well.
So about how thin? Half inch?
Yeah, about 1/2 inch.
Okay.
And these, you know, the oils will go nicely. Oops. All right. Let's do it this way. Yeah, I got a slick cutting board and a slick lemon. So
Not a good combination.
no. So it's like, all right, get a good.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. That's done. I will put those on here in just a second. I would mince
Just
this
one
up.
lemon?
Yeah,
Just
just
one
one lemon. I may
Okay.
use the juice on a, but I'm not sure. I just
Okay,
had that
so
one
now
out.
what are you doing?
Now what I'm doing is just cutting the sun-dried tomatoes.
Okay,
And, you know, normally, used to, I always use sun-dried tomatoes that were in olive oil. But, you know, it's like some of them were olive oil, then I noticed that like some of them it was safflower oil. And I'm just, you know, I have gotten kind of more and more militant over the years. I just don't want any oil that is not olive oil or avocado oil. And, you know, I know that there's still a few things that I've gotten that I don't, you know, that I haven't completely banished that stuff, but I'm doing my best to eliminate it. So, all right, we've got, there's the sun-dried tomatoes. These are going to get sprinkled on there. And I'll wait just a second for everybody to catch up a little bit. And then, let's see if we've got everything.
what else will you be putting on?
I'm going to be putting the capers on there.
Have them ready? All
Yeah,
right.
have those
The
ready.
instructions say paprika? Where's
Yeah,
that
so
go?
here's the deal. So I'm not going to put paprika on, but absolutely use that. We're trying to deal with Jude right now to see if nightshades are like taking those out, if they will help her with some gut and some skin issues. So, you know, the okra in here is a nightshade, and the tomatoes are as well. But, you know, you can pick those out,
Yeah.
right? But doing the paprika, it's kind of on everything.
It just adds to a nice flavor, though.
Oh, it's, I mean,
It's good.
the smoked paprika, I use that in a whole lot of stuff. So I'm really hoping that paprika is not something causing you a problem.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pull the tray over here.
Okay.
And yeah, make sure that you're either got a good hot pad or these are like these surgical towels that I love using.
Okay, so what are you
So,
going to do?
so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take I'm going to put the chicken on top. All right,
Oh,
so I'm
are
going to
you?
put,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm going to put the lemons in here.
Okay,
Just kind of,
let's do it slowly.
yeah, and just kind of position them in. All right, and then we'll sprinkle on the sun-dried tomatoes.
Just having everything dispersed.
Yeah, just kind of spreading it out in there. I'm going to sprinkle the capers on. And capers are something I never used before. I like the whole kind of briny piece to them.
And they add a nice.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of heavy-handed with them on this.
Yeah, you were generous with the capers.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and now then the olives. Once I get the chicken and everything on there, then I'm gonna put some cracked pepper on it.
Okay, you'll put that on last. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe move your little dishes there. But
Yeah.
the way that. Okay, so now what?
Now we're gonna put the chicken and the onions on there.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, yeah, with this, you know, the problem with, like I said, is that a lot of it is already like partially cooked because of the microwave.
Well, it is what it is.
It is
See
what
how
it is.
goes.
And, you know, it's like, okay, those pieces are not, you know, they'll be like tougher.
Man, chicken thighs would be fabulous.
Yeah, chicken thighs is the way to go.
So you're not pouring this out. You're actually
Yeah,
picking
I'm just,
it out.
yeah, yeah, because I don't want to like deluge this stuff with all the
Oil.
oil and the, yeah, I wanted that marinade, you know, to kind of help with some flavor, but I didn't want to just go nuts with it. And, you know, it's funny too, because I went for a period of time where I just would not use chicken breast or anything. And then after reading name and stuff, it's like I am now like, it's like, okay, you know, I'm a lot more focused on getting the protein, and then, you know, I am not, it's like everything doesn't have to be high fat for me to be happy with it. All right.
So when you said
Do the onions go in too from the bag?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, because those will be delicious.
How would you have done the shrimp then? You would have.
So that would have been the thing with the shrimp, is I would have had to have changed the timing. So everything else would have been in there. I would have pulled it out and put the shrimp on like, you know, 3 or 4 minutes before it was all done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still warm.
Okay, so salt and pepper at this point, or just
Yeah,
pepper?
and just a little bit of salt,
Okay.
because I've already salted kind of everything as it went.
And it's got the briny capers and
Yeah,
things.
and but I'm gonna hit it with some more pepper. All right. Yeah, and this would be a great time for the paprika.
Yeah, paprika now on top. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, it just makes it look prettier too. With
It
the
does,
paprika.
yeah. All right, so this is going to go in.
Back in the oven?
Back in the oven.
What shall I set the timer for?
Set it for 25 minutes.
Okay.
That is a tray groaning with food, so. All right.
Tray groaning with food. All
Yeah.
right.
So now then, let me wait just a second.
Make sure everyone's got their.
Yeah, let me move the green beans that we didn't use out of the way. And I'm gonna use my towel here to just kind of.
And what do you think you might use the lemon for?
Well, I was thinking we may squeeze it on, but we'll see. You know, it's like you just never know when you might need a lemon, so.
All right. Okay, so what are we going to be doing next?
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna prep the okra.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do with it,
It's all been washed.
Yep.
Obviously.
and you know, okra is one of those things where it's like it's in Southern culture.
Yeah. Before you cut it, let us know what you're doing before you cut it. So
Okay.
everyone's ready.
So I'm just laying it all out, and not all out, but I'm kind of putting a line of it here, and so I'm looking at the top of it, and I'm just going to use the knife and just go across all of those at one time. So now I just cut the tops off of about 6 of them at once.
Okay.
And what I want to do is I'm going to get all the tops cut off, and then I'm going to cut them in half.
Okay.
I'm going to cut them in half down the middle,
Okay.
or longwise. But I'm going to take another big long line
If
of
not
them.
okra, what else could you have done in the air fryer?
Well, I mean, man, you could do Brussels sprouts. You could have done Brussels sprouts would have been good with the onions. I mean, you can do asparagus.
Broccoli even?
Yeah, you can definitely do broccoli. You know, the thing with broccoli is it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Smaller pieces.
yeah. The thing that you and I found with this is that just kind of any vegetable, you know, I think is done service in the air fryer.
Tastes better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I interrupted your story about okra.
Yeah, so okra is one of these things that it is definitely a Southern phenomenon, because there's a lot of people from different parts of the country, and you go, well, I'm cooking okra, and they're like, what in the hell is okra? And it's like, it is something that there is certainly a love-hate relationship with it, right? I mean, a lot of people, their exposure to okra was that it was just, you know, grossly overcooked, or it was, you know, it was slimy.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, gumbo, it's delicious. And then I like it like this in the air fryer. I also like it in a curry as well.
And it has an incredible, it's very nutrient dense.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah. Yeah. It also though has solanase in it, which is the nightshade.
Yeah.
But you know, an awful lot of people that's not an issue. The thing that I find interesting, and we've talked about this on Fearless Cooking before, But, you know, just like animals evolved to, you know, either evade detection or, you know, they develop some kind of a fight defense mechanism, you know, vegetables are kind of the same way. And it's like the longer we as a species have eaten it, the more kind of adaptive we've become to it. But if it's a food that has been kind of just recently introduced, and even if it's been around for a while, there's going to be some things to it that are, you know, have some level of toxicity with us. And, you know,
You need to do anything with the seeds, Jim?
Nope, just leave them in there.
Leave them in there.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of part of its charm.
So it says it's rich in magnesium, folate, fiber, antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin K1, and A.
Nice.
Says like it, yeah, it's known to have some anti-cancer properties. Helps pregnant, might even help benefit pregnant women with heart health and blood sugar control.
One of the things I saw with it in one of the pieces I was reading on it, it's been a couple of years ago, they were saying that when coffee was rationed during, I guess it was the Second World War, they used okra seeds to make a beverage that they would drink instead of coffee. Now, I've never seen that anyplace else, but I thought that was kind of interesting. You know, it is supposed to have some pretty strong, like, anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
So now I'm just,
I've not been
yeah,
paying
all I'm
attention.
doing is just slicing it down the middle.
Okay,
Yeah.
taking each one of those and
Yeah,
slicing down the
each,
middle.
and I just, you know, I just lay it down there, put the, you know, kind of hold it in place, and use my knuckles as a guide. And then once we get this all done, then we're going to take it, we're going to put it in a bowl, put the onions in with it, hit it with some salt, pepper, and olive oil, and then we'll put it in the air fryer for 10 minutes.
I gotta tell you, that dish in the oven is already smelling heavenly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible aromas.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, as a kid, I would eat fried okra. The idea of having it in something like a gumbo just grossed me out. But, you know, one of the things I figured out too is that, you know, it came here from Africa. So using it with spices like, you know, curries and stuff that has kind of a heat to it is a great match for it. And in fact, since you're not going to be eating this,
you should have
actually, yeah. So I have some curry powder.
I think what I noticed when you put it in the fryer, that it's never slimy then.
Yeah, it helps. The high heat helps with that.
Yeah, it keeps it from.
Yeah, I got this stuff. It's Pensy Spices. It's called Curry Now. So I'm going to hit it with that since I'm not having to take into account your delicate sensibilities. All right.
Okay, so you just put the
I
okra
just put
in
the
a
okra in.
bowl.
I'm going to put the onions in. I'm going to give this all a good mix. Yeah, I have these little gnats that are flying everywhere. I think it's like anytime you have this much fruit around, those little devils like it. Now, one of the things I've learned with curry powders is that a lot of them have salt in them. Let's see if this one does, because I made the mistake once of not noticing, and I salted it kind of as normal, and I found out that the curry powder had salt in it, and man, I just like way overdid the salt, but this has no salt in it, so we're good.
Could you even just use the paprika on the?
Yeah, I could.
Be good on the okra too.
It would, but curry powder is great. Yeah. So anything that, you know, and this is another piece of the play with your food kind of recommendation that I have, and that is, you know, play with different spices and see what you like. Well, you know what? That's the last of that. So I think what we will do is that we will add a little paprika to it. So those two together will be just nice. I'm going to toss this around the corner.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, so I use let's see what I've got in here. Yeah, here's a smoked sweet paprika. So we'll toss some of this on here. Yeah, nice.
Wow.
I like paprika.
Apparently.
A
Okay.
little oil.
Okay. Olive oil?
Yep.
About how much?
Just, what is that? It's probably about 2 tablespoons.
Okay. Just
And I
enough
just-
again to coat.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna give it a good mix.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hit it with just a little bit of salt since I didn't salt it. All right.
Okay, so what will be next?
So now we're gonna pull the basket out of here, the air fryer. We're just gonna space it out on here. Perfect.
So as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
spaced
gonna
out.
have, you're gonna have overlap. And you know, it's like, would it be optimum to have where there is no overlap? Absolutely. But you know, that would take about 4 iterations here. All right, so I've got it at 400 degrees. I'm gonna move it to like 375. I'm gonna put it on for 10 minutes.
375 for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna rinse the knife off. And then we're gonna do
Is the figs ready?
yep, make the figs.
Okay. So it looks like we're about a little over 14 minutes. On
Perfect.
the,
Yeah,
on the-
everything will. You know, this is one of those that I think it may actually all come together at the right time, which is always amazing.
All right, Jim, can you just review with me? I'm putting okra with some onions and some olive oil in a bowl. And then what's the temperature and how long in the air fryer?
Yeah, 375 for 10 minutes.
You've got it. When you in the air fryer, what are you looking for? What consistency? What does it look like to know that you?
Yeah, so what I'm looking for is a little crunch, right? So I'm looking, you know, I'll be looking at it to see, okay, so you got color on it, because that's kind of what we're looking for. Okay. All right, now then, I'm going to move some stuff around because I'm going to use the.
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah.
Give some time to get ready too.
Won't need the lemon right now. Yeah. Peach.
Notice you have your handy thermometer out.
Yeah, well, because I'll use that to check. I don't think I'm going to have any worries about the chicken may not being done, but you know,
Okay,
just
so what
in
are you
case.
doing?
All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the figs out. I had rinsed them off earlier. I wanted to see, okay, you know, kind of figs can get funky spots on them in a hurry. This one looks good, so I'm just going to cut the end of it off, and then I'm going to just cut it in half. And I'm just going to sit it here. Do the same with this one.
Just cutting off the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not cutting the bottom off, but I'm kind of checking the bottom to make sure that it doesn't, you know, that it doesn't have mold on it. Yeah, I'm just checking the stem off. And
Okay.
then cut it in half. And what we're going to do is we're going to reduce some balsamic vinegar, and once it starts to reduce, then we'll add the figs and we'll add everything else in.
So you could do this with lots of fruit.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Obviously, your
strawberries. You could do it with
pears.
pears. You could do it with what else? I mean, peaches would be delightful. In fact, we're going to add a peach to this.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, and pears are another one of those things that the only way I would eat it as a kid is if it was in a fig Newton. You
need a fig. That's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, I would not eat a fig to save my life because to me they smell gross. My next door neighbor as a kid growing up had fig trees, and they just never appealed to me. And then the first time I had one cooked, I was like, man, this is incredible.
really good grilled.
Yeah,
too.
I'm not like a huge fan of raw figs, but man, I absolutely love them cooked. All right, and then what I figured out is, all right, if you add a little goat cheese, a little honey, and the balsamic vinegar, that's kind of hard to beat. So,
Healthy, but just it feels really, you know, like indulgent.
yes,
as a
it is
dessert.
indulgent, and that's a good thing to bring up. I'm all about trying to get people to be real conscious of what they're eating. But I also don't think that we have to do without any indulgence. I think we just have to be smart and where that it becomes a treat and it's not something that just is we're doing like kind of every day mindlessly. It's like if you're going to eat a dessert, make sure it's a good one. All right, so I'm going to get the flame started on this.
It looks like figs have a lot of really good nutrients also in them.
Really?
A lot of
That always helps.
vitamins A and K, copper and iron, magnesium, calcium.
All right, let me get this out. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pan on there, and I'm going to put a pretty generous amount of balsamic vinegar, probably about a half a cup. And one of the things that you'll notice as you start heating it up is that you get this real kind of acrid, acidic sort of smell, because that's the I guess it must be like, I don't know if it's alcohol coming off of it, but it will get, I mean, it'll certainly do a number on your nose in the very beginning. And what we're trying to do is just get this thing to where we get it thickened up a little bit.
Okay, and you're doing it over what, medium or high?
Yeah, probably about medium heat.
Medium. Okay.
We don't want to let it burn, so we're going to just kind of, you know, and it'll start to bubble.
What am I supposed to have done with the figs by now?
Just cut them in half and cut the very tip off of them. And then we will, I'll slow this down just a little bit.
Slow down just a little bit.
Yeah, all I'm doing right now
You know
is
what
just,
you have not cut is your peach.
yeah, which I'll do that in just a second. I'm trying to get this going, and then, yes, the peach is already washed, and I'm just gonna slice it.
Is this just a little one you added at the last minute? You didn't have it in the original recipe?
Yeah.
Oh, I can smell the.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is very pungent.
You have to keep stirring it while it's.
Yeah. I just don't want to let it burn. It's all.
Yeah. So you said you put about a half a cup in the pan.
All I did was just kind of cover the bottom of it.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna keep this kind of easy. And, you know, obviously you want to be super easy with it because you don't want to, you know, slosh it out on you.
Can you just use a spoon also?
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
stir it? And how long does it take for this to reduce?
You're starting to see a little bit now, but it's going to be probably another 2 or 3 minutes.
And how do you know
It's just, you're looking for a change in viscosity. So you're looking for it to get thicker.
thicker?
Yeah. And it's just, you know, I'm just kind of keeping it moving around on there. You know, that's the thing that's so interesting is that, you know, it's a vinegar, but then as you reduce it down, it really gets sweet. And it definitely
Very strong.
it burns your eyes. Yeah.
Be a nice compliment to the chicken piccata.
Oh yeah.
It'd be a really nice dessert to go with it.
Yeah. It's a great dessert to go with just about anything.
Mediterranean kind of.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna so I've got the goat cheese here. I'm gonna cut about that much off to go on there, and I've got.
Can you name how much that is? Like what, about 2 inches?
Yeah, so that's about 2 inches.
Okay.
Yeah. which, like everything else I do, is probably about, you know, a third of a cup. All right, let's get closer. I'm going to go ahead and put my fix in. As soon as
So you're putting the figs in now.
Yeah,
even
putting
though
the
it's
fix
not-
in now. Yeah, because it will continue to reduce with those
Okay.
in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a wooden spoon to use.
You put the peaches in
I'm
as
putting
well.
the peaches in. And then I'm going to add, get ready to pull out the butter. I'll add that here in a second.
So you just got it a little bit thicker before you added
Yeah,
the fruit.
I'm adding the fruit.
And then a spoon to stir
Yeah.
it.
And the butter is right here.
How much butter was it again?
It's about 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to, like, you know, what is that? So this whole thing is 10 ounces. It's not half. So it's about probably 3 ounces.
Of the goat cheese.
Uh-huh. And what that'll do is it's going to give it some creaminess, but it's also going to add some acidity in there as well.
Yeah, it gives it the tang with the sweet. It's
Mhm.
really interesting together.
I'm going to sit back here for a second.
So you're not putting the goat cheese in?
Not yet. I want to stir everything else around,
Okay.
and then I will. I'm going to get these. Get them to soften up a little bit.
The fruit to soften up a little before you put in the cheese?
Yeah. Some of these figs are not as ripe as that first batch was that I used.
So they'll take a little longer depending on how ripe they are.
Yeah. Kick the heat up just a touch.
So about a medium sort of heat?
Yeah. Boil it again good.
So you're just making sure they're all coated. With the,
Yeah. All right, 4 minutes.
about 4 minutes on the chicken.
Okay,
Boy, it smells good. And the looks like the okra's
Yeah.
getting close to.
Okay, we're in the it's starting to thicken up a little bit more.
It's a bit of a warm meal on a hot August summer
It is.
day.
But here's the thing that I love about this is that, all right, that's a large tray of food.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, now I'm putting the goat cheese in. I'm getting ready to add the butter, and I'm going to add just a little bit of honey.
Goat cheese.
And I just broke the butter into like 3 pieces. I'm putting that in. I'm going to stir it in.
And when you say just a little bit of honey, what do you mean?
Probably about 2 teaspoons.
Okay.
It's just, I'll show you. It's going to be just a touch.
Okay.
Not a lot. Just, you know, I like that kind of wild taste of the honey in there. And now I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. Okay.
So the vinegar balsamic is still continuing to
Yeah, it'll still continue to reduce. But now then you've got that, you know, that butter is kind of helping form the sauce. You know, you could add nutmeg to this. You could add, so our timer went off.
on the.
Yeah, and I'm going to
Okay.
check that. Move this out of the way. And once again, make sure that you've got a, actually, let me use the different ones. Oh yeah, this one's going to be a little, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah,
Nice and
so I mean,
crunchy.
so there is some of it that's a little crunchy.
I like it that way.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty delightful. All right, so now this is going to be done real soon. Like all of the, the sauce is thickened. Just kind of mash those. Yeah. Oh, man.
This is like a meal you'd get in a really nice restaurant.
Yeah, yeah. You would.
That dessert is over the top.
Yeah, it really is. If you wanted to take the decadence up even a whole other notch, you could like toast some pecans and put those in there. All right, I'm gonna put this believer on a real slow simmer until I pull the other out. How much time we have? A minute left?
Just a little under a minute.
Okay, I don't need to cook my thermometer on the.
No.
So
when people do take their chicken out, for chicken thighs, what would you want?
So chicken thighs, I like them about 155 because it's going to come up. It's going to continue to cook.
Okay.
Let's see what it looks like.
So you're going to take out the.
Yes, I'm just going to look to see. Yeah, so these are already starting to brown up. The onions are brown. Oh yeah, look at this.
Wow, it's beautiful.
So we're going to check the temp, but I know we're going to be good.
What do you want for chicken breast? Is that the same?
I'm probably way past what I want. So yeah, we're actually no, we're 170, 172. It's still climbing 170. Yeah. So these are, my preference for chicken breast is about 150, 145 because it's going to come up.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are 175 and north of that. What I like too is that the potatoes are, you put a thermometer into them, and they just goes in real easy, which means those are done.
The green beans.
The green beans are done. So we are done. Now,
I'm going to see if any of your participants need any other support.
Yes.
Everybody looking good? I think they're getting them out. All right. Oh, look, there's an air fryer. So you want to talk about next time? Or
yeah, so I think what we're going to do next time is we'll do it's going to be the middle of September. So that to me is the time of year where it's like the weather change is flirting with you just a little bit. Like there's maybe a morning or two that it's been a little cooler than what we've been experiencing lately. So I think we'll probably do some kind of an Instapot dish. I'm thinking maybe like a pork stew. And then we'll also do some kind of a sauce. So I'll try and find something that will delight everybody between now and then. Also be taking suggestions. So any questions today? Kind of Dan, how did yours turn out?
Well, the thighs are running around 170, so
perfect.
May have been a little long, but I think that all that stuff is probably ready to go. The first round of I've got a smaller air fryer, so my first round of the okra came out, and I guess I'll be brave and try it. And the dessert stuff looks interesting. So the cheese is all supposed to melt down into the sauce there.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I think I got that together. So, hey, bon appetit, as they say.
You too. Let me know how you like it. I'm interested in your first foray with okra.
All right. Well, we'll give it a fair shot and let you know.
That sounds good. All right. Hey, have a great rest of your week.
Thank you very much.
All right. Talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.